welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and I'm here today to do my October TBR. October is one of my favorite months. I love the spooky season. I love reading horror, especially in recent years. Horror has quickly become one of my favorite genres. So let's get into all of the books I want to read this month. The first book is a book I purchased in Boston, in Salem, and it is Ghost Stories. So these are a collection of ghost stories that are introduced and illustrated by Audrey Niffenegger. My goal is to just like read one short story a night to really get through this. So this is a collection of just the best ghost story tales of all time. There's Edgar Allan Poe, Kelly Link. There's like little illustrations throughout it. Let me see if I can find one. Stuff like that. So I'm really excited to try this out. I think it's going to be a really fun experience. It'll put me in like the spooky mood, I think. So this is going to be one that I'm going to chip away at throughout the month. Then October always marks my annual Stephen King read. So I'm slowly making my way through Stephen King's bibliography and I'm doing it in publication order, or at least if it doesn't fit into like a vlog idea, into publication order. So the next book that I need to read from Stephen King is The Dead Zone, which follows a man named Johnny Smith who seems to have some sort of like supernatural power, and it seems to heighten after moments of almost being dead or coming back from the dead. Johnny Smith has come back from the void with an extraordinary gift that becomes his life curse, presenting visions of what was and what will be for the innocent and guilty alike. But when he encounters a ruthlessly ambitious and amoral man who promises a terrifying fate for all of humanity, Johnny must find a way to prevent a harrowing predestination from becoming reality. This is quite different from what I've read from Stephen King before. He does dive a lot into the supernatural, especially in the beginning books with Carrie and The Shining. So it doesn't surprise me that this book has a more like supernatural sort of twist to it. But I'm really looking forward to reading it and just making my way, like I said, through Stephen King's books. It is like a lifelong goal to get through all of them. I don't have to like all of them, but I'm hoping that I will still enjoy this one. I seem to be enjoying his backlist, so this is the next read. After that, let's talk about a vlog idea that I have. So since, you know, creating life, I've been reading a lot of like horror, mommy horror type of books. So I had an idea a couple of months ago when I was walking around Montreal bookstores. I kept coming across like women horror. And so I kind of want to do a reading vlog with like scary mom ideas. So the first book that I plan on reading is Our Share of Night by Mariana Enriquez. Basically, a young father and son set out on a road trip devastated by the death of the wife and mother that they both loved. There's the theme, there's the connection. And united in grief, they travel to an ancestral home where they sort of have to confront the terrifying legacy that their mother and wife has left behind. And the seems to move back and forth throughout like British and Argentinian history, and it's like a family story, a ghost story. It just sounds really, really interesting. I know a lot of horror booktubers here on YouTube have read this and really loved it. This is so appealing to me, so it's definitely one that I will be reading for that vlog. The next book, which is fitting because the adaptation is coming out, is Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder. All I know about this is it is about a ambitious woman who becomes a mother, and she has to put her career on hold in order to take care of her newborn son. And after 2 years of taking care of her son, one day she starts waking up and she develops patches of fur. She's sort of developing these like canine impulses. So this sounds really weird, really cool. I'm always down for like a weird ass experience. So that is the next book. I think I'm really going to enjoy this one. And then lastly, we have the classic like mommy thriller, The Push by Ashley Audrain. I've heard nothing but really excellent things about the like creepy motherhood experience in this one. So this book follows Blythe Connor, who wants to be the warm and loving mother to her daughter Violet that she never had. However, she is very convinced that something is massively wrong with her daughter Violet. Her husband is gaslighting her, telling her that there's something wrong with her. And it's only when they have their second child, a son, that we start to dive into the relationship between Blythe and Violet and understanding what's really going on there. Is Violet evil? Is the mom imagining things? I can't wait to dive into this one. I think it's going to be really, really, really interesting. So that is a vlog that you can definitely expect this October. And after that, I just have a couple more books that I would be into reading if possible. The first of which is Magic for Liars by Sarah Gailey. Let's see if there's a better description on Goodreads. So the description on Goodreads says that Ivy Gamble has never wanted to be magic, perfectly happy with her life. But when Ivy is hired to investigate the gruesome murder of a faculty member at Tabitha's private academy, the detective starts to lose herself in the case and in the life she could have had and the answer to the mystery that seems just out of her reach. This seems exciting. It's going to be my first Sarah Gailey, so I'm really looking forward to reading this and seeing what's up. After that, we have a little novella that I've put on many October TBRs, and I never managed to pick it up, and I really want to get to it because I know people really love this novella, and that's The Monster of Ellenhaven by Jennifer Gesbrecht. This follows a city that lives on the edge of the ocean, and a thing without a name stalks the city. It's shaped like a man with a dark heart and long, pale fingers, yearning to wrap around throats. A monster who cannot die. His frail master sends him out on errands, twisting him with magic, crafting a plan too cruel to name, while the monster's heart grows fonder and colder and more cunning. These monsters of Ellenhaven will have their revenge on everyone who has wronged the city, even if they have to burn the world to do it. I don't know what else this could possibly be about. It is so short, so I don't want to know more, but I really do think that I can enjoy this if I just put my mind to it and read it and stop forgetting about it like I do every October. And then in order to keep up with my ever-growing and never-shrinking nonfiction TBR, I really want to get to this book that my sister bought me for my birthday, and this is Missing Witches: Recovering True Histories of Feminist Magic by Riza Dickens and Amy Torok. So this is a guide to invocations, rituals, and at the intersection of magic and feminism, informed by history's witches and the socio-political culture that gave rise to them. When you start looking for witches, you will find them everywhere. As seekers and practitioners reclaim and restore magic to its rightful place among powerful forces for social, personal, and political transformation, more people than ever are claiming the identity of witch. But our knowledge of witchcraft and magic has been marred by erasure, sensationalism, and sterilization. The true stories of history's witches left untold. So if you watched I forgot what blog it is, but I went to, my recent horror arc blog. I went to Salem and Boston, and in Salem they were talking a lot about the rise in witchcraft and how it was often used obviously to perpetuate some sort of rise in Catholicism, patriarchy, socio-political misogyny, and stuff like that. And so I find witchcraft to be incredibly moving and such an interesting discussion on feminism. And as witch hunts are becoming a prevalent term in the media to attack white men, I just find it to be really interesting if we look at the actual history of who was attacked, who was targeted in these witch hunts, and look at how we can use witchcraft or use the idea of this more feminist practicing belief in society and see how it can be utilized today. So I'm very interested and keen to pick this one up. It's probably like my most anticipated read of the month, just because I'm very into more feminist and political discussions based on what is happening in the world and in the media as we speak. I also have a couple of arcs that I do need to get into for the month of October, but I don't think they're like the spookiest, just a couple that happen to come out and I need to read them. So if I have time this month, I will focus on picking them up. The first one is a September release, and that is When the World Tips Over by Jandy Nelson. This is her newest release. I'm very excited to read it. I loved I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson when I read it. It feels like almost 10 years ago. It was a booktube darling. People loved it. It was an incredible contemporary YA novel. I don't read a lot of that these days, but I do want to give this a chance because I did like I'll Give You the Sun so much. This is about the Fall siblings who live in Northern California's wine country. Years ago, their father mysteriously disappeared, which cracked the family into many pieces. So the three children of the Fall family seem to have all different types of personalities. So Dizzy Fall is age 12, bakes cakes and sees spirits. Miles Fall is 17, brainiac, athlete, and a dog whisperer, but he's also lost and desperate to meet the kind of guy he dreams of. And then Winton Fall, 19, who raises the temperature of a room just by entering it, is a virtuous violinist set on a crash course for fame or self-destruction. So obviously the father's disappearance has really led to these cracks in their relationship and in their personalities. Then an enigmatic rainbow-haired girl shows up, tipping the Falls world over. She might be an angel or a saint or an ordinary girl. Somehow she will be vital to each of them. This really reminds me of like Stargirl vibes. We'll see what it is. I'm excited to pick it up. I hope I like it. Then we also have a really highly anticipated book for me. Air by Sabaa Tahir is out in the world. I recently just finished the Ember in the Ashes series, which I will leave linked up above to that vlog. So this is a new fantasy series that I'm really excited to start by Sabaa Tahir. I really enjoy Sabaa Tahir's writing, so I expect to like this fantasy novel. Growing up in the Kigari slums, Aze has seen her share of suffering. An old tragedy fuels her need for vengeance, but it is love of her people that propels her, until one hot-headed mistake lands her in an inescapable prison where the embers of her wrath ignite. The second character, Saoirse, is banished from her people for an unforgiving crime. She's down on her luck tracker who uses magic to trace her marks. Destitute, she agrees to hunt down a killer who has murdered children across the marital empire. All she has to do is carry out a job and get paid, but when a chance encounter leads to an unexpected attraction, Saoirse learns her mission might cost her far more than she's willing to give up. And then the third perspective is Quill, who is the crown prince of the empire. Okay. But he's hesitant to take the throne when his aunt steps down. As the son of a rivaled emperor, he, better than anyone, understands that power corrupts. When a vicious new enemy threatens the survival of the empire, Cole must ask himself if he can rise above his tragic lineage and be the heir his people want. Sounds really good. I expect nothing less from Sabatier, so that is another one I would really like to get to this month. Then we have one that I got as an ARC from Penguin Random House. That is Happy Head by Joss Silver. So this is a new dystopian thriller about an experimental mental health retreat center for young adults where everything is not what it seems. So this really reminded me of More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera, which is why I was initially intrigued by it. I really liked More Happy Than Not. I thought it was super interesting and very different when I read it at the time. So Seb has been selected for an experimental health center called Happy Head, and it's designed to solve the national crisis of teenage unhappiness. There, he and his fellow participants will complete a series of assessments meant to test them so they can better face the challenges of the real world. Seb is determined to win because he wants to change how people see him and he wants to make his parents proud. However, obviously something sinister is at play and Seb will soon be at the heart of it. So another book that sounds really interesting. I would be keen to pick it up this month if I could. And then finally, the last arc I have for October is Remember You Will Die by Eden Robbins. So this is a really cool horror book. It's told entirely through obituaries and it's an innovative genre-bending epic about the messy tapestry of a human history and the threads that connect us through the eyes of an AI mother named Peregrine, who is grappling with the unexpected death of her human daughter, Poppy. What an interesting relationship that is. Anyways, well, there's not much else that's there, so I think this could be really interesting. It seems to be like a puzzle, a search for something, which could be a really intriguing format. So that sounds really interesting to read this month. That's it. Those are all of the books I would like to get to in the month of October. Will I get to all of them? Who knows? But if you've read any of these books, please let me know down below what you thought about them. Did you like them? Did you hate them? Let me know. If you would like to follow me on my reading journey outside of YouTube, I always leave a link down below to my Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram if you would like to follow me there. And of course, because it is the end of the vlog, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. It does wonders for my channel, makes me feel really good. And that's it. I never know how to end these things, so I will see you next time, okay? Bye!